Live for Dark PC Studios in Eddyville, Kentucky. It's time for another episode of Dark PC Movie Top 10 Review. That was a mess. This week we're talking about the top 10 time travel movies in honor of the new film coming out this month. Maybe Bill and Ted, whatever the title of the movie is called. Your host, Darth Easy. Hello, Easy Nation. Welcome to another episode of Darth Easy's Top 10. This is my monthly show where, my other podcasts, TV Recap, Movie Review, whatever podcasts do I do, Game Corner, all come out whenever I finish a show, or like the TV Recap was a weekly show, but right now, since we're in the dead slump of TV season, I am only going to be doing like those when I'm finishing watching shows. I'm really, right now, not watching TV. I might start it back up and for Big Brother coming on. It depends if I want to watch it or not. I haven't really decided. So yeah, let's get right into it. This is my top 10 movies. This is my top 10 time travel movies. And there's a lot of films that messes with time travel. And time travel is very complicated. It gets very, as a doctor would say, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly time stuff, and it's like a big bowl of big timey-wimey stuff, and that's the thing with the time travel. Sometimes it gets confusing. Sometimes Back to the Future lied to us, as Paul Rudd was saying, Avengers Endgame. It's just this was a very fun topic to talk about, and so yeah, let's get right into it. This is like I said, once again, my top 10 is my top 10. It's not your top 10. It is my top 10. So if you have a problem with my top 10, you can get on down the road because this is my top 10. And if you have a problem with it, that's your prerogative. But don't comment like, oh, you should have put this movie in the list. Why didn't you put this one in the list? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, shut up. So let's get right to it. So at number 10. This was, the number 10 spot was a really hard one to pick, and so my number 10 is the movie Source Code. Source Code was the movie directed by Duncan, I forget what the guy's name is, but the son of David Bowie. It starred Jake Gyllenhaal and also had Michelle Monaghan in there. I believe that was the female actress in there. The whole premise of the movie is Jake Gyllenhaal he is like half a body, and they basically plug his mind into this thing that allows him to go back in time. But they are using it mostly to figure out how this bomb went off on this train, and it's very fascinating to watch as he tries to save everyone, but really they just want him to do this, and they're using him as a tool, but he wants to go back and save everything. And it's a very short, sweet movie. It's a movie I haven't seen in a very long time, but it's one I wouldn't mind going back and giving a rewatch. I just think Source Code is a very cool and very interesting thing they do with time travel, because at first they thought they could just go back and witness events, but he finds out that he could actually save everything. So yeah, I really do enjoy Source Code. I think it's a good movie. So yeah, I had to put it at the number 10 spot, because like I said, I don't remember the movie as much as other movies on this list, but like I said, it's a good, enjoyable film. At number 9, I went with one superhero film, and I went with X-Men Days of Future Past. I was close putting Avengers Endgame on this list, but I think X-Men Days of Future Past does a better job of the time travel elements of this film. And, I love X-Men Days of Future Past because, the movie starts off, it's in that Terminator 2 kind of sode. The world's kind of ended, but they have to send somebody back in time to help save, by stopping the Sentinel program. And so, at first they're going to send Patrick Stewart back to his younger Xavier Jace McAvoy body, but his mind, no matter how powerful it is, could not handle the stress. But Wolverine, I love the contrast they do for the comics, because in the comics, Ellen Page or Kitty Pryde's the one that goes back, but this one they use Wolverine because his body can repair itself, it can heal itself, so he's able to go back and get Xavier, who's in a very dark place, who can walk again, but he has cut himself off from his powers because it's offered him so much. James McAvoy in this movie you just feel for his character so much. He's lost everything, and I love what they do with him in this movie. Michael Fassbender's back as Magneto, and he's great. And I love both versions, like the Magneto when he's younger, who's more resistant to the change that Xavier wants to do. And then also, I really enjoy, like, everyone around the movie is great. The guy who plays his Beast, he's great. And like I said, Hugh Jackman kills it as Wolverine as usual. I mean, just a great role. And I like at the line he has to, he says, I fought a very long time to stop you. And he's like, how'd that work out for you? You're like me. You're a survivor. Just I love Wolverine in this film, and like I said, I like how they changed the timeline and completely fixes what they did in X-Men 3. The timeline gets screwed up again right after this film with X-Men Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. But you know what? For the that little moment where we got to see Jean again, and we get to see Cyclops. Great seeing the original actors from the original X-Men. And I just felt like this was a very natural. It feels like Terminator 2. This movie really does. And yeah, X-Men Days of Future Past. It was my favorite movie of 2014. The year I started doing movie reviews. I love X-Men Days of Future Past. Probably my favorite X-Men movie. And I think I like X-Men First Class a little more, but just because I love the Cuban Missile Crisis so much. The history around that. I love how they were using the Cold War. This movie's great though. I love it. All right, at number 8, I went with a Tom Cruise film, and that is Edge of Tomorrow. Love Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow is Groundhog's Day meets an action movie, and I love where Tom Cruise. He's not the typical Tom Cruise character. He's not the guy who could do everything. He's not the Ethan Hunt character. He's more the guy who he comes up with the plan to do this invasion of Normandy thing, and basically he goes off to that first mission in the suit and basically gets hit by this mimic thing and absorbs the time travel power. And so he connects with Emily Blunt's character. I believe the character's name is Rita something, and she's like one of the most badass women you will ever see. And like one of my favorite action movie heroes is probably her. She's just incredible in this film, and then you just see this relationship between the two characters is great. And like I said, the action and like all the ways Tom Cruise dies is like it's hilarious. It really is. And like on your feet, maggot. And I was just like, I love this movie. Edge of Tomorrow. It's a very fun action time travel film, and like I said, it's Groundhog's Day meets like Terminator or something. So yeah, I had to put Edge of Tomorrow on my list. All right, at number 7 is a film I haven't seen in a very long time, but it is a very good time travel movie, and that is 12 Monkeys. Had Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt. The whole point of it is Brad Pitt or Bruce Willis's character. He's in prison. They send him back in time, kinda, in this machine where he's trying to figure out how the plague, because all humans are living underground. That might be us in a few years if COVID-19 keeps going. So this movie may get too close to home, but basically he's trying to figure out how they spread this virus, how we can stop it. And I like how you see, and they all think it's Brad Pitt's character, but it wasn't really him at all. And this movie, it's a very entertaining one. I haven't seen it since I saw it, like, I think 10 years ago. I think I saw this movie like 10 years ago, but it's still a very good time travel film. And, 12 Monkeys does a great job. I love it. All right, at number 6, I had to throw one Star Trek film, and there's about 3 Star Trek films that was an honorable mention. But the one I had to go with Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. Just because Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, I think First Contact is a little too much. Star Trek First Contact is a little too much of it feels like it's more made for TV. And then Star Trek, the 2009 Star Trek movie, is it a time travel movie? Yes, because we got Leonard Nimoy's character comes back from the future to the past, and then you have the Nero character, but they're not actually time traveling like our main characters is it. In this movie, the heroes of the Enterprise on this Klingon ship go back into the past because the Earth is about to be destroyed but if they can find a hunchback whale, they can save the Earth. And I love what about this movie is it's not just about Kirk and Spock. Everyone has their own little missions. Everyone's doing something. And like there's that scene in with Chekhov where he is speaking to the computer, and they're like, no, you can't do it like this. He's like that look on his face. He's like, what a bunch of cavemen. And it's just great. Like, and then on that connection Kirk makes, and then also in this movie we see this movie was directed by Leonard Nimoy, but in this movie, Leonard Nimoy's Spock, he is trying to rediscover. I would say he's rediscovered his humanity because he was dead, and he's not completely Spock until like really towards the end of the movie or the middle of the end of the movie, and it's in this film that he has to remember who he is, and I think this movie does a great job of doing that. And I think Star Trek 4 is a fun movie. It's not the best Star Trek movie because I think I like Wrath of Khan better. I like the Star Trek Undiscovered Country better. But this is a really good movie with the original cast, and it did the trilogy between Star Trek Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 3, the Search for Spock, and this ended the little mini trilogy they had. So yeah, this movie is great. If you have not seen Star Trek Voyage Home, it's just such a fun movie to watch. At number 5, I went with Groundhog's Day. Groundhog's Day is a time travel movie because every day he has to repeat the same day over and over again. This premise has been used so much in sci-fi films like Edge of Tomorrow to horror films like Happy Death Day, and I've seen some episodes of Doctor Who, Star Trek Discovery used this same formula. This movie is fun. It's Bill Murray. He's really a horrible person, and you kind of think he's dead because he's in purgatory. He has to relive the same day over and over again, and who knows how long he was here. Probably for maybe 5 or 10 years. He knew every piece of everything about life, and at the end of the movie, he realizes he's a better person at the end of the film, and it's just. He becomes a better person. He's finally allowed to move on with his life and go on into the future. So yeah, I love Groundhog's Day. It's a great film. If you haven't seen Groundhog's Day, you need to check it out. It's a good one. At number 4, I went with Looper. Looper, once again, great movie. And this is really the last film, really, to be honest with you, where I would say, Bruce Willis has been phoning it in for years. And he was good at Glass, I will say. Most people don't like Glass. I like Glass. But he did become that character more than he was in the other films. In Looper, he completely becomes the character, and you buy Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the same character. The whole premise of Looper is in the future time travel is illegal, but they send people back to the past to kill these people they're going after, or these people they want killed in the future. So they send them back in the past and there's no body trail, there's no identity, so it's a completely clean. But basically, they send these people back. Eventually, 20 years after your loop closes, you get 20 years, and then you're basically put to death or whatever. This is it's a great movie. It has Emily Blunt in this movie as well. This is one of the first big movies I really saw her in. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt does such a great job. And this is one of the reasons I was so excited for The Last Jedi, was because of Rian Johnson. This movie blows me away every time I watch it, because it's just everything they do, when he decides to kill himself to save, because this little kid becomes a mobster that they all work for. If he doesn't lose his mom at this early age, maybe his path changes. And it's a very interesting day. That kid actor at the time, just holy crap, he was good. Yeah, Looper is one of those films. Like I said, it's a great time travel movie and everything. And yeah, this movie's great. I highly recommend checking it out. At number 3, I went with Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is my favorite Harry Potter film. And one of the reasons I love it so much is because I love Harry Potter. I love the fantasy genre. I love Harry Potter for its own. But when you turn it to time travel, when at the end of the film, it becomes a sci-fi movie, and that's when movies can transform into other genres, like when a good history or drama can become a romance movie, or a war movie can become a romance, or something like good like that. It's fascinating to watch this film, and movie was directed by Alfonso Cuarón, and it's like the Chris Columbus movies are very kiddie, very fun. I enjoy the hell out of them, but this movie just took it to the next level. I love what they did with the Dumbledore character, where he's kind of the Yoda in this film, where he speaks riddles, and it's fascinating to watch. And then Gary Oldman, Sirius Black, and what they use with the time travel stuff, how they save Buckbeak, how they save Sirius, Harry's Patronus. Everything about this movie I just really enjoy. So yeah, I had to put Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban at number 3. All right, so at number 2, this movie probably is my favorite movie on this list, but for the title, I can't give it number 1, but I can give it number 2, and that's number 2 is Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Love Terminator 2: Judgment Day. It is my favorite Terminator film. I mean, there's really only 2 to choose from because the rest of them are kind of mediocre, but Terminator 2 is just a fun movie. I mean, the first movie was just a great horror movie. It was made kind of cheap. It kind of has that kind of cheap kind of horror thing into it. So I really enjoy it for that. But the second one, it is an action movie. Bringing in the T-1000 to the liquid metal. One of the most badass characters in movie history. One guy you do not want chasing after you. And then John Connor sent back a T-800s. The side that tried to kill this bomb. And get down. And I know why you cry. I mean, that scene at the end of the film when he sacrifices himself so Skynet won't be bored, and that he says, "I know why you cry, but there's something I can never do." And he goes down and the Terminator theme, the da 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 da, and then he just going down, and he just has the thumbs up, the da 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 da. Da-da-da-da-da. Just that scene always puts a little tear in my eye. I love this movie. It's fairly good. If you have not seen Terminator 2, what? Alright guys, my number 1 time travel movie is obviously Back to the Future. I mean, Back to the Future is one of the all-time great movies. It's directed by Robert Zemeckis, who, you have George McFly, he goes back in the past where he almost prevents himself being bored by messing up his mom and dad getting together, but then he changes the future, and then also, I mean, all the science stuff with like the letter. It's like, don't open this letter until 1955, and yeah, this movie's it's great. It's a great I love Back to the Future a lot for this movie. It just a lot of the stuff they do with the time travel stuff, the 7 billion or 7,000 gigawatts. The movie's just fun. It's got great music, and yeah, Back to the Future I think it's a staple. It's like if The Godfather's the staple of crime films, then this movie is the staple of. Its staple is the staple of time travel movies. So yeah, I have to get number 1 Back to the Future. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of this month's episode of the Top 10. I don't know what I'm going to do for September. Hopefully some more movies will start coming out. Like I said, Bill and Ted, I'm interested to check it out. I have the first one ready to watch. I heard the second one's not worth watching, so I'm going to watch the first one, go into the third one, or I might just go right into watching the third Bill and Ted, so we'll see how it goes. So guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. So guys, make sure you subscribe to the Darth VZ Podcast Network on the Darth VZ Show YouTube channel. I post a lot of podcasts you can check out, or you can subscribe to the Darth VZ iTunes feed and some other places. I believe I'm on Spotify and some other places. And also, guys, make sure you check out the main channel of the Darth VZ YouTube channel. That's where I post movie reviews, TV reviews, video game reviews, and more. So, guys, until next time, all too easy.